I'm Michael Seitz, joined by Alberto Calderon, and this is Cal and Seitz. We're lucky enough to be joined by two special guest stars today. On the bottom left of your screen is Nick Rizzo. On the bottom right is Tom Sipe. Two excellent sports contributors from the illustrious St. Bonaventure University. Let's dive right into it. NFL playoffs all showed today. We're going to go through all 6 of these games, our previews, predictions, all that good stuff. Then at the end of the show, we're going to name our awards for the NFL this season. Let's jump right into it. We got the first game Saturday, 1 o'clock on CBS. Colts and Bills. Buffalo are 6-point favorites. I'm going to go right to you, Alberto.
Well, first of all, I want to say welcome, Nick, Tom. It's good to have you on the show, guys. In terms of this game, this is going to be a good game. I'm excited for Buffalo to play in their first playoff home game in quite some time. And I expect the Bills to take care of it. I expect Josh Allen to go out there and dice up that Colts defense. We know that Colts defense is really good. They were picked one of the best defenses in the beginning of the season. But I see them standing no chance against Buffalo. I got Buffalo covering that 6.5 spread, or I think it dropped down to 6 right now. So I got Buffalo on this one.
All right, Rizzo, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I agree completely with Alberto. I think the only way the Colts stand any chance in this is Jonathan Taylor gets about 20 to 25 carries and you keep the Bills' offense off the field. But other than that, I don't think there's a chance the Colts win.
All right, now the man in the Knicks hat, Tom Sipe.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me on. I'm honored. But I disagree with you guys in a little bit of a sense. Obviously, if you know me, you know how high I am on the Buffalo Bills. So I do think the Buffalo Bills will win the game. But I think that it's going to be the tightest game out of the 6 this weekend. The Indianapolis Colts were my preseason pick to go to the Super Bowl along with the Dallas Cowboys. That really didn't work out. But I've always been pretty high on the Colts, and I think it's going to be a really high competitive game. I do think that Buffalo is definitely going to win it, but I think it's going to be a much better game than people think. Of course, I wish Marlon Mack was still healthy for the Colts, and it would even help him even more. But I would take the Bills in this one, most definitely.
So,
all right.
You think Phil Rivers is stand a chance in the cold? He's had a bad history in cold weather games.
Oh, I mean, come on. I don't believe in that stuff sometimes. I mean, Philip Rivers, I mean, he sucks anyway. But I just think overall, just the Colts are going to be able to – I just think that they're going to have a better chance than a lot of people are giving them credit for.
Okay.
All right. I think that the Bills will win the game. I don't know about covering 6, though. If the Colts want to win, they got to establish that run game, and they got to go with it. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor having a great last couple games, second half of the season. Bills' run defense is not the best, although their defense as a whole has stepped it up over the last, since Week 13 against the Steelers and maybe the week before that too. I don't think Josh Allen has a great game in this one. I think it's going to be close. Colts defense is very good, but I still have the Bills in this one. And Philip Rivers in the cold, I do buy into that. I don't like him up there. And if they are going to win, like I said, they're not going to want to use him a lot. So, and remember your picks for these games, guys, because when we're done with all 6, we'll do the hypothetical playoffs for each of us. We'll just go through who we think will win those matchups. So, all right, on to our next game, Saturday at 4:40 on Fox. It is the Rams and Seahawks NFC West showdown for the 3rd time this year. Each team with a win in this game. We're going to start with you, Tom, on this one. Jared Goff is, quote, progressing well ahead of his playoff matchup. Do you think he plays, and who wins the game?
I don't care if he plays or not. If you know me, you know how much I hate Jared Goff. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I never have. He's a prototypical system quarterback if we've ever seen one. So I don't care if he plays in that because it doesn't matter because the Seahawks are going to win. I think he probably will. But I think the Seahawks defense kind of has struggled a little bit or mightily at times this year. But I think people are kind of underrating them in a sense because they struggled the last 6 or 7 weeks. They maybe not have looked as sharp as they did at the beginning of the year. But I definitely think that Russell Wilson He had a fantastic start, and I think that the Seahawks are going to handily beat the Rams this weekend.
All right, Rizzo, does Goff play, and who wins?
I agree with Tom. I don't think it matters if he plays or not. They're not winning this game. Goff is terrible against pressure, in my opinion. So if the Seahawks can use Jamal Adams and everyone else on that defense and blitz him and get to him, they absolutely stand no chance in this game.
All righty, and Alberto?
Golf has to play. It's rare that the QB for a team is the X factor. That defense is going to show up. They've showed up all year. I expect this to be a close game, though. I don't like the Seattle defense, although they've been progressing week by week. Russell Wilson's going to show out, but I also think the LA offense is going to do some damage too. I expect this game to be pretty considerably high scoring, maybe 31-28 game, but I expect Seattle to get the job done. Maybe on a last game-winning drive by Russell Wilson. I think it's going to be closer than what people expect. I like Seattle.
All right. So, obviously a game in Seattle, but no fans because of COVID. I'll coin Alberto's phrase here. They'll have no 12th man, as you love to talk about the 12th man. But I'm worried about the Seattle offense. So if you go back to their last matchup, or the first matchup, with the Rams, they scored 16, 28, 23, 12, 40, 20, 20, 26. The 40 was against the Jets. Other than that, their offense has not impressed me at all. Russell Wilson is not playing at the caliber he was at the beginning of the season. On the flip side, the defense has improved a lot, and I like what I see from them. And I don't care if Jared Goff plays this game or not. The Rams are winning this game. That defense is going to step up. They're going to win a tight, low-scoring game. I'm going to go 2017 Rams. I could see your guys on the bottom did not like that pick.
I think that, Mike, the thing about if the Rams win, they have to have Goff in order to win. So the fact that you're saying that if he doesn't play and they win, I just find that blasphemous.
I like what I saw at Wolford. He wasn't able to cash in last week, but I liked what I saw him slinging it and running it. I really did.
That's a very short sample size. It's not the playoffs against the Seattle Seahawks, who are a very experienced team.
That's true. I'm calling the upset. I'm going with the Rams. All right, we'll move on to the primetime 8:15 game on NBC Saturday. It's Tom Brady and the 11-5 Buccaneers going to Washington to take on the 7-9 Washington Football Club. A little interesting fact: Bruce Arians, the current coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when he was coaching the 11-5 5-seed Arizona Cardinals, went to Carolina to play the Ron Rivera coached 7-8-1 Panthers and lost. Okay, Rizzo, who wins the game? Tampa is 8-point favorites.
I think this one's actually going to be close. Washington plays well under Alex Smith, I feel like. But then again, it's also Tom Brady and a bunch of studs on offense. So, I don't know. I think the somewhat obvious choice here is the Buccaneers.
All right, Alberto.
Listen, there's one way, there's one recipe, and only one recipe to beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. And that's just to knock him down, sack him, get pressures on him, and just be a havoc in the pocket. This Washington team is capable of doing it. I don't think on Sunday night or Saturday night they're gonna be able to do it. I think Tom Brady's gonna take care of business. I'm gonna put it like that. I'm gonna put it pretty bluntly for them. I think Tom Brady and Tampa Bay win maybe by 17-21 in this game. I like Tom Brady in this game.
All right, Tom.
Well, first of all, Mike, of course, you are the one to believe Bruce Arians, Ron Rivera, under 500. Only you would bring me that stat. But in terms of Tampa Bay and Washington, Alberto, I think you make a great point. I mean, you guys heard Chase Young after Sunday, like, oh, we're coming for Tom. And, I mean, that front seven, I mean, they provide some pressure. So if I was a betting man, I would bet that Washington's definitely going to cover the 8.5. I think it's ridiculously high. I think it's going to be a very close game. The only chance that Washington has is if their offense is able to keep up. Because I think Washington's defense is going to be able to contain Tampa Bay's offense. It's just that if Ron Rivera's defense is, shows that grit that they kind of have over the second half of the year, they're going to have a chance. So I think it's going to be close. As much as I do, my gut tells me Washington, just because I feel like they haven't. I'm not too high on Tampa Bay. I'm going to go with the favorite here in Tampa Bay, but I'll be honest. I would not be shocked whatsoever if Washington left this weekend with a victory.
You took a lot of the words right out of my mouth, Tom. I would not be shocked if Washington won this game. But I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to keep it close for the majority, if not the entire game. I think Tampa wins by 7 at the most. Maybe a garbage touchdown at the end could push them over. But like you and Alberto said, you got to put Tom Brady on the ground if you're going to beat him. They can definitely do that. And I'm still not a huge believer in this Buccaneers defense. I haven't been since the offseason when all the hype was going on about them. But I don't think Washington is that offensive team to beat them in the playoffs. Maybe in the next round, whether they go up to Green Bay or go to New Orleans again. But I don't see Washington being able to get over the hump there at the end, even with Alex Smith playing. All right, so let's move on to the Sunday slate. That's the 8 o'clock game. Ravens-Titans, Sunday at 1:05 on ABC. The Ravens are 3.5-point favorites. It's a rematch of last year's divisional round game where the number 6 seed Titans went and beat Lamar Jackson and the 14-2 Ravens. Also a rematch of this year's overtime victory for the Titans in Baltimore. I'm going to start with you, Alberto. Who do we like in this game?
I think this is going to be the best game, or I think this is the most intriguing matchup out of the 6 games. And I'm just going to say right now, I like Baltimore in this game. I think, like you said, throughout the last couple months, maybe throughout the last, year, I guess, Mike, the Tennessee defense sucks. And they cannot stand their own. And to think that if they can, muster up a good game against Lamar in that offense, that's not going to work. I don't see it happening. I think Baltimore wins. I think they'll cover that 3.5 pretty easily. I like Baltimore in this game. And, they're looking to make a statement. After last year's early exit, after Lamar, his MVP season, and he goes out like that, Lamar's looking to make a statement. So I like the Ravens in this one.
All right, Rizzo.
Yeah, I agree with Alberto here. I think this is probably going to be the best game of at least definitely the first weekend. I think that for Tennessee to win, that's another team that has to get off the field defensively. Their third down percentage is higher than 50, so they give up a ton of third downs, which is actually last in the league. And that's important when you're playing an offense with Lamar Jackson to get off the field there. But I think, unfortunately, Baltimore wins this game.
You think they cover?
3.5, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
A little bit of hesitation there.
I don't know. I just think because then again, like the Titans offense is still good enough to go and score whenever they really want to. So could be close. Could be like maybe 6, but I mean.
Okay. I love the stat too. Was not expecting that. All right, Tom, what do you think about this one?
All the storylines, right? Just like our brother was alluding to. Lamar Jackson MVP season. Tennessee comes in, they beat him. Lamar is looking to make a statement. I'm sorry, I just don't see that happening. I think Tennessee matchups too well with Baltimore for Baltimore to come out and get a victory. They're if you look at Baltimore, they kill the bad teams but can never finish against the good teams. I mean, it's so vital each of the last 2 years. And I think Tennessee Tennessee beat Baltimore last year in the playoffs, and the overtime game that Mike just told us about this year, it's tough to beat a team a third time. Listen, I normally tend to agree with those certain situations, excuse me. But Derrick Henry's been phenomenal this year. Ryan Tannehill, I mean, whether you like him or not, whether you think he's good or not, he's been completely stable for this Tennessee Titans offense, and I think it will be a close game. But in the end, I think Mike Vrabel's team comes out on top.
Tom stealing my thunder again. Every time. Maybe I should stop going last. But no, Tennessee does match up very well, and Tennessee seems to have figured out Lamar first. And we saw that in the playoffs last year. And they did a fairly good job of containing him this year, obviously, in their win. And I think they will be able to run up and down the field with Derrick Henry on that Baltimore run defense, which has been shaky at times, especially in that game against Cleveland. And like Tom said again, they kill the good team or the bad teams, and they either lose to or barely beat the good teams. So I'm going to take the Titans by a field goal. I think this game might go to overtime. There's a very good chance this game goes to overtime, in my opinion. I'm going to go with the Titans, but I would not be surprised if the Ravens walked out of here with a victory too. So my pick is Tennessee. All right. Our next game is the Bears and Saints, 4:40 on CBS and, yes, Nickelodeon. For some reason, they are hosting a playoff game. I don't get that one. But anyway, back to the game. 8-8 Saints, 12-4, or 8-8 Bears, 12-4 Saints. Game down in New Orleans. Double-digit 10-point favorites for the Saints. Rizzo, what do we got?
I think I'd like to think that the Bears have started to kind of figure out everything offensively, and their defense isn't bad, but I think it's kind of obvious here, just like with the line is too. I think the Saints pull away with this one and pretty easy victory, especially with Alvin Kamara. If he actually does end up playing, that's a game changer.
Ready, Tom?
I'll be honest. It's my upset of the week. I think that
I hate you.
He stole it.
I hate you.
Thank you for keep going to me before you go to yourself.
I'm going first next time.
This Bears offense under Mitch Trubisky, listen, love him or hate him, I'm sorry. He's been good this year. And their offense overall has been much far better with him under center than it was with Nick Foles. Earlier in the season, the two teams matched up. Nick Foles started, went to overtime, and Nick Foles wasn't even that good that game. And I think they matched up pretty well. I think just the Bears. I mean, I know they lost last week to Green Bay, but everyone lost to Green Bay this year. I think their momentum kind of picked up, and Mitch Trubisky knows that. Let's be honest, it's kind of a make or break game for him. If they get shellacked, he's kind of done in Chicago, and who the hell knows where he'll end up. So I think that Chicago does come away with the win because it's going to be sad, but I think the Bears defense, which we really don't know, the verdict really isn't too out on them. I think they're going to get to Drew Brees, and it's going to be the last time we see him on the field on Sunday.
Wow, that would be a sad day for sure, Alberto.
I completely agree with Tom 100%. This is Drew Brees' swan song. This might be his final game, and it's gonna come at the hands of the Chicago Bears. Look, and I have to agree with Tom. This is Trubisky's. This is his game. That 2018 season that they put together. They lost to the Eagles. They were a 9-7 team. Chicago was 12-4. They didn't get the job done.
Double doink.
The double doink, right? The double doink game. This is Trubisky's game. He needs to win the game. I think they will. Chicago's defense matches up perfectly against the Saints defense. They're two of the best defenses in the league. And I think Chicago gets it done. I saw the line when it first came out. It was like 8.5, 9 for New Orleans. And I was like, I think Chicago can win this game outright. And I think they will on Sunday. Indoors, weather's not going to play a factor. I see Chicago winning this game. I really do.
Unfortunately, we won't have my favorite term ever, bear weather, because we are in the dome.
Yeah.
But I love the Bears plus the points here, and I have not bet the Bears since I got burned when they were 5-1. I think it's going to change this week. I love the Bears to cover, but you know what? I just can't agree with Tom anymore, so I'm going to go with the Saints, just despite Tom. Tom always accuses me of taking his take. That's because I let him talk first. Just don't you forget that. But I really think this is going to be a good game. I think Drew Brees does step up in this. The thorn in his side in the playoffs has been the Vikings. Maybe it's an NFC North thing now. If he loses this game, I don't know. But I do expect it to be tight. The Bears defense is very good, in my opinion. I think Mac's going to have a big day. I'm thinking something like 27-24, 27-21 Saints victory. But again, I would not be surprised if it went to the Chicago Bears. And one interesting thing about Mitchell Trubisky, I saw I think it was NFL Network dissecting his game film from the last couple games that he's come in for Nick Foles, and they showed before and after, like before this season, after. Before he's come in the most recent stint, they were running complex patterns with guys he was, quote, uncomfortable throwing to. And when they put him back in, they let him control who was in. Like, you've seen a lot more of Darnell Mooney in there, and I can't remember the tight end right now. Oh my goodness. Is it Jimmy Graham?
Komet.
Jimmy Graham, the tight end there?
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Graham in there. It's
Welcome
Jimmy
back.
Graham and Mooney. He loves throwing too, along with Allen Robinson. And they've been having guys go on only one side of the field. So he can roll one way or only look one way. It simplifies the offense, and he's thrived in that. So, like I said, would not be surprised either way, but I'm going to go with the Saints in this one. Okay, our last game, Cleveland and Pittsburgh. 8:15 Sunday night, Heinz Field. Pittsburgh 6-point favorites. COVID takes out Kevin Stefanski, Browns head coach, along with a couple players. Olivier Vernon tore his Achilles week 17. He will also be out. I'm going first, so Tom doesn't steal any of my takes here. Don't know what he's going to say, but still, I'm going first. So, I did not like what I saw from the Browns last week. For me, last week, what I needed to see from the Cleveland Browns was blowing out the Steelers practice squad plus a couple other players like Mason Rudolph and their wide receivers. I needed them to win convincingly, and they almost lost. It looked like Mike Tomlin intentionally did not get that 2-point conversion so he could play them in the first round of the playoffs, because I think that's the best matchup for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I could see this game doing one of two things: a 3-point victory for either side or a blowout Pittsburgh win. I'm going to go with the small win for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one. I'm praying to God that they run the offense they ran in the second half against the Colts. If they do that, they will definitely be successful, and it'll also help if Robert Spillane is playing. I'm not sure if he is or not. I'll throw it over to Rizzo with the Steelers banner over your right shoulder. Or Alberto, you want to go?
So what do you mean by that second half offense against Indianapolis? What do you mean by that?
They started throwing down the field. They stopped throwing little stupid 2-yard slants. It was pretty clear to me that Roethlisberger started calling the plays. They weren't afraid to throw down the field. They let Ben run the offense. They were able to block for the running game, which is huge, obviously. I don't think they've lost a game where the running game has been successful this year. So, all right, Rizzo.
So, yeah, as you pointed out, the band over my shoulder here, I think it's kind of obvious who I'm going to take in this game. But one of the reasons I think that's going to be the outcome is obviously with one of the Browns' better offensive linemen, Joel Bitonio, landing on the COVID list. Him not being there against the Steelers' pass rush and overall just defense, that'll hurt Baker Mayfield in his first playoff game. You never know what you're going to get with him. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's maybe 7 to 10 point win for the Steelers.
All right, I know Tom's picking Cleveland, so I'm going to go to Alberto.
You know, Baker Mayfield, this is his first playoff game. This is what he's been waiting for his entire career. And sometimes inexperience does play a factor. I remember he said earlier today that, you know, the limited practice or the no practice at all won't play an impact in this game. That's just completely false. You need your reps, you need your practice, especially up against the Pittsburgh defense. So I don't know what he means by that. And because of that, I just don't think he's going to perform. One, it's his first playoff game. And two, it's against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. That's all I need to see. And I like Pittsburgh in this game, probably by 13, 17 points, as much as I hate to say it. I like Pittsburgh in this game.
All right. And before I go to Tom, I want to point one thing out is that the Steelers have seen the Browns playbook twice this year, and the Browns have seen the Steelers playbook for maybe 3 quarters this year. Because of the 38-7 win, they weren't running their A plays with their A guys in that fourth quarter, and obviously Roethlisberger and some other starters sat out last game. So I think that also gives an advantage to Pittsburgh in the scheme that they run. So, okay. All right, Tom.
You said that you knew I was gonna pick Cleveland.
That's just to spite us, but go ahead.
But Mikey, unlike you, I pick with my brain, not my heart.
Oh, okay.
So I am gonna go with the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend.
It's a miracle.
I do think experience plays a factor. I think the Steelers, would they lose 4 out of their last 6, right? Isn't that
4 to the last 5?
But yeah, even worse. And I think that they are gonna have a little. All right, well, we've had all this disrespect, blah blah blah. Maybe Juju will do a little dance after the game. But I do think I think it will be relatively close. And I think Ben Roethlisberger sucks, but
Yeah.
I think the Steelers are going to win by about 6 or 7 points. Sadly.
Okay, now I have a unrelated playoff question for the 3 of you. From what you saw of Mason Rudolph in Week 17, what is his future in the NFL, Alberto?
Oh man, putting me on the spot. Combined with the Week 17 start and what I saw from last year, or mostly from last year, obviously he deserves a second chance. Last year's performance, I don't know. I mean, could he be a starter? Yes. Could he not be? That too. I don't think he is. Maybe he could find his way, and not with the Steelers, that's for sure.
Okay.
Not with Pittsburgh. But, if he finds his way onto a team as a backup, I wouldn't be surprised. But not as a bona fide starter in the National Football League.
Okay. Fair enough. Rizzo, before I let you talk, you're missing a Super Bowl back there on your banner.
Oh, yeah.
You're missing 43. Okay, anyway, go ahead. Mason Rudolph.
So with this one, I agree with Alberto. I think he has a 50-50 shot either way, honestly. I think in terms of what we've seen of him so far in the NFL, I think last year has to outweigh what we saw from one game against the Browns, where he doesn't look great. But I will say the one thing with Alberto saying he shouldn't be or won't be in Pittsburgh or whatever, I think I would disagree with that because of the fact that I don't know if it's them having not much to play for, nothing to lose against the Browns last week, but the fact that they were so open with him throwing the ball as much as he did and like as deep as he did, I think that means they have faith in him to be something after Roethlisberger, but I couldn't tell you either way.
All right, Tom.
I think the reason that they had faith in Rudolph last week throwing the ball is just because they didn't want to burn out the running backs. But what I saw from Mason Rudolph, because Mike, your question was what I saw from him in Week 17. I think I saw Colt McCoy, Nick Mullins, C.J. Beathard, a guy who you could stick him in and he'll give you a solid enough game against a mediocre defense. But at the end of the day, he's not someone who's going to lead you to a playoff appearance. He's not going to be a starter. He's not going to be nothing. He's a Colt McCoy, Nick Mullins, C.J. Beathard. He's a guy who you want as your primary backup. Kyle Allen, you're signing him to be your primary backup because if something happens, he's what you're getting from him. I mean, if you're talking about the Steelers quarterback situation as a whole, I think Roethlisberger should go back to his room, and bring in someone new. Whether it's someone small, as in I think Jameis Winston would be a good fit. I know some people call that very stereotypical, but I think he would be a good fit. But Mason Rudolph's not a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Okay, so I have a theory on this. We're going down a rabbit hole here again, as we do every show. Okay, so before Mason Rudolph got murdered by Earl Thomas in the game in Pittsburgh last year, he actually did not look bad. After that, I think he was scared to get hit and scared to throw the ball. Obviously, him and Duck Hodges rotated in and out in that year I'd like to forget. But right before he got clocked by Myles Garrett, he actually didn't look terrible in that game either. So what I saw in Week 17 was very promising for me. And part of me agrees with you guys saying that he's a 50-50 shot and he's a backup at best. But I really do think the Pittsburgh Steelers organization believes in this kid, and I really think he will get a shot when Ben Roethlisberger retires. And I would not be shocked at all if the Steelers do not take a quarterback the next 3 or 4 years.
They won't.
I don't think they will. And if they do, it will be a non-first or second rounder.
So you're saying that Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
I agree with you, actually, Mike. I don't think that they'll take one in the first 2 days just because they're going to want to sign someone who's already stable because they're not going to want to work with someone because they already have, a solid enough team. So, I mean, who do I think they should bring in? They should trade for Matthew Stafford this offseason.
I'd love that.
It's not
I would
gonna
love
happen,
that.
But they should because that makes way too much sense. That's why I'm like, all right, maybe you could sign a Jameis Winston or I don't know who else is going to be a free agent at the end of the year.
Trade for Deshaun Watson. Sorry.
That never happened.
Bill O'Brien's not there anymore.
But again, I think like you're looking at small examples. Against, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do remember last year. I don't feel like the Steelers had the hardest schedule in the world.
No, they did not.
They didn't. So again, I think this is a guy who what you're getting from him.
Yeah.
He's not going to be awful. But he's not going to lead you to some playoff appearance or at the end of the game. At an end of the game, Mike, say this weekend, do you want, you're down by 3, you need to go and score a field goal. Do you want the ball in Mason Rudolph's hands? Because I don't. I would.
Probably not. I mean, if he plays the way he did last week, yes. But like you said, that's too small of a sample size right now.
Yeah, no,
So,
I wouldn't.
Okay,
Alberto,
so in addition to not wanting to develop a player, like Tom said, I think that what you said, Mike, that the 3-4 years that they won't draft a quarterback, you're basically saying Mason Rudolph is their guy, right?
I mean, I think
3 to 4 years is a long
the Steelers think Mason Rudolph is their guy until he plays a couple full years and does not succeed. I really genuinely think the Steelers think that Rudolph is their guy, and I think that goes all the way up to the ownership because they take pride in how they draft.
Yeah, and 100%.
Here's why I'm just confused on why are you proclaiming that they're not going to take a quarterback in the first 2 days of the draft, but they want to continue to develop a guy like Mason Rudolph because it's going to take development. It's going to take.
I know, but he's also been in the system for 3 years already. And there are people inside the organization, including Roethlisberger, who say that he is way more vocal this year. He's able to actually contribute to that quarterback room. He's reading plays. He's putting in plays.
Well, yeah, but this isn't far of handing off to Rodgers. Rodgers handing off to Love.
Absolutely.
That's not the situation.
I'm not saying it is.
It's a guy who's a solid backup right now. Who I feel like we've seen his ceiling.
I mean, if you want my opinion on it, I think that Rudolph is a great backup, like you said. I think they should trade for Stafford or draft a Trask or a Zach Wilson if he's still there or something like that in this draft, or they could even wait till next draft and take somebody. I think they should draft a quarterback in the first 2 days of the draft the next couple of years, but I don't think they will as an organization. So.
Okay, so here's a question for you and for Mike and Rizzo.
Okay.
Next year, at one point, say Ben Roethlisberger is looking terrible. His arm is just completely blown out. He's looking like he's done. He needs to hang it up. Do you see them benching Roethlisberger and putting in Rudolph and just letting him ball out for the rest of the year?
No. They'll never do that unless Ben says I want.
Well, benching, disguising it as an injury.
Unless Ben says yes, put him in, he will not be in the game. You see this with Alejandro Villanueva and David Castro this year. They've both had pretty bad years, and they're still in. There are more capable guys who, when healthy on the bench, are better than them, who aren't playing, and that's just because of veterans.
No Villanueva slander.
I love Villanueva, Tommy. You know that. He's just had a terrible year. He's old. Rizzo, what do you think about that question?
So to me, I think, as Mike, as you know, I think we saw the best chance of that maybe, even though it was kind of a must-win game against the Colts, the way that game started. If the Steelers wanted to or Ben wanted to have Mason Rudolph in that game, thinking it gives them a better chance to come back or win that game, whatever, they could have done it. They would have done it. I think as long as Ben Roethlisberger is your quarterback, unless he actually does get hurt, I think you have to roll with him as long as you have him. So I don't see that happening.
Mikey's dreaming of Sunday night Roethlisberger struggles. They're down at halftime. In comes Mason. It's like Jalen Hurts when he got benched to Tua in the national championship. Oh, this is gonna be it. Mason Rudolph starts saving grace. This is not gonna happen.
First off, I would be so torn in that game. I would be so torn in that situation because if the Steelers are struggling at half, there are many bridges in Pittsburgh that I could go off of. So that's first. And second, they better not struggle. If Mason Rudolph turns into a franchise quarterback, it's not going to happen. That would be fantastic. But no, it's not going to happen. But
I'm kind of surprised that you, Nick, have said some nice things about Rudolph because I've heard, before there's some not so nice things about Mason Rudolph.
I'm just giving the guy the benefit of the doubt, honestly.
I mean, you've seen more of the benefit of the doubt with this guy.
Yeah.
Rizzo, I remember sitting in my dorm room last year playing the Browns the night he got smacked by Garrett, and you screaming at the TV how terrible Mason Rudolph was.
He was, because this is to your
Rizzo was
point,
actually
after
happy that
Ravens
happened.
game. So
I love going down the rabbit hole on this show. All right, so we made our picks for the first round. So let's go to our hypothetical second rounds. If you guys can remember your picks and match them up with the reseeding, that would be great. We'll start with the AFC top seed, the Chiefs. I have 1 through 4 in the divisional round with my predictions. So it would be Titans at Chiefs for me, and I'll take the Chiefs in that one, although I think it'll be tight. Alberto.
Okay,
Who you have playing the Chiefs?
Yeah, I'll keep this brief. Yeah, I got Kansas City over Baltimore, Buffalo over Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Buffalo, AFC Championship game.
Okay, I also will take Buffalo over Pittsburgh too. So,
Yeah.
All right, Rizzo, who do you have in your divisional?
So mine would have been, again, I think it would be the Chiefs and Titans. Or no, I said Ravens. So that would be
Chiefs, Ravens.
Chiefs,
Okay.
Ravens, yeah.
I think the Chiefs are a team that are never out of a game. We saw that last year. I think for this whole year, they've had games where they could blow people out, but for whatever reason, they just keep it close. I think for the playoffs this year, they turn that around, and I don't think they lose to anybody, honestly, this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they win that game, at least against Baltimore. Then that would put another rematch between the Steelers and Bills. I think a rematch there.
You want to pick the Steelers so bad.
I do. I really do. I want to say there's a way they pull out a game against the Bills there, but the way their offense is playing, I just don't.
All right, so that's 3 Chiefs, Bills. Tom, are you going to make it 4?
I will. Corvette.
No.
They're
Oh,
losing
God.
to the Bills again.
I think so too. The Bills are.
I mean, listen, I do think that it's going to be a fantastic weekend on the AFC side in the divisional series.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think both games will be very good. And, I just want to see Josh Allen. Corvette.
God. All right, NFC.
They were dancing to "Can't Touch This" at practice today, which apparently a lot of people loved, but
Awesome.
no big deal.
Corvette.
All right, so before I mute Tom, we're going to go to the NFC. Number 1 seed Packers. I know 2 of you have them with the Bears. I've got them. What's that? What's that, Tom? Okay. I've got the Packers with the Bucks, and I think the Packers get their revenge there up at Lambeau. And then I've got the Saints and the Seahawks, and I've got the Saints in this one. Alberto.
Okay, so I got Green Bay over Chicago. And then I got the matchup between the Seahawks and the Buccaneers. That's a good match. I mean, that's a hell of a matchup right there. And I'm taking Tampa Bay in that game.
Oh, okay.
I got Green Bay, Tampa Bay in an NFC Championship game. I need to see Rodgers, Brady in a playoff game.
I agree.
Never happened before. It's never happened.
Rizzo.
Okay, so I had Tampa winning this weekend, so that would put them against I can't match this up right now because I'm on my phone, but
All right. Who do you have who do you have winning? Do you have the Saints winning?
yes.
Do you have the Seahawks winning?
Yes.
Okay, then Saints, Seahawks, and Bucks, Packers. And before you talk, I forgot I picked the Rams. So it's actually Rams, Packers, Bucks, Seahawks for me. And I'm taking the Seahawks and the Packers. Sorry about that mistake. Okay, back to you, Rizzo.
I agree there. I think it will be the Seahawks and the Packers who make it out of those games. But I don't know. I think because that would be Rodgers and Brady, right? I'm okay. Whatever. I don't know. But,
All right, Rizzo, you're done talking. Tom.
move on.
I think both divisional games will be like absolute steamrolls. I think Green Bay is going to destroy Chicago, and I think Tampa Bay will beat Seattle. Even though I think Seattle's going to steamroll the Rams, I think they will get steamrolled. So I got Bucks Packers. Very
Little
shocking.
reverse.
Yes.
All right. Championship games. I've got Chiefs and Bills, and I've got Seattle and Green Bay. I'm going to take the Packers out of the NFC. It's Aaron Rodgers' year. And against all better judgment, I will be taking Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to the Super Bowl, unfortunately. Alberto.
Okay, so yeah, I got the same matchup. I got Kansas City versus Buffalo.
I took Green Bay. Oh, wait. Yeah, you're right. Never mind.
Yeah. Kansas City versus Buffalo, man. I need to see this game. I really need to see it. They didn't play each other
Yeah,
at
they
all
did.
in the regular season.
Really did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Tuesday
That's
night.
right, they did. Who
Tuesday
did-
night in Buffalo, Kansas
Pittsburgh
City
didn't
won.
play. Kansas City and Pittsburgh didn't play.
Mhm.
I need to see this rematch. I think Kansas City's going to win this game. Maybe by a late Mahomes touchdown drive. He gets the ball with like 50 seconds. He marches right down, kick a field goal, go to the Super Bowl.
Tears Buffalo's hearts out.
Yeah, he will. I think he will. And then in the NFC side, I got Tampa Bay over Green Bay.
All right, let me tell you why you're wrong.
Oh,
Okay, listen.
let me tell you why.
When the Bills and the Chiefs played, the Bills were coming off that Tennessee game that was pushed back to Tuesday. Then they only had 6 days in the rain in Buffalo on a Monday, got pushed back from prime time. So many complications. Josh Allen, it was the worst game of the season, and they were still in it the entire time, the entire way.
Okay.
Their offense was horrible. It was brutal. It was against Tennessee, too. They had all the different implications. I think it's really important this year because those are factors when it comes to these games. And I'm sorry, I don't care that it's in Kansas City. I think the Buffalo Bills, there's just too much going right in Buffalo. There's too much going right in Western New York right now. And I just think that Josh Allen, I think he has just been phenomenal all year long outside of those 2 games. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry. I just don't see Kansas City going to be able to keep – I know this is going to sound like a ridiculous sentence, but I don't see Kansas City's offense keeping up with Buffalo in a head-to-head matchup. I'm following all of my words today.
I agree with you in the pick with Buffalo, but I don't think it's going to be the Kansas City offense struggling to keep up with the Buffalo defense. I think it's going to be the Kansas City defense struggling to keep up with the Buffalo defense, not the offenses.
Okay.
I think the Buffalo defense is better.
That's a fair assessment. That's a completely fair assessment. But at the end of the day, I think that Buffalo just has had too much their offenses look so in sync. I mean, they had 3 losses all year, and 2 of them were from COVID reschedules, and one of them was on a fluke Hail Mary, 60-yard Hail Mary, right? I mean, just look at those games. They had a phenomenal season all year long. They were so consistent, especially after that Kansas City loss, that I'm sorry. I just think that they're going to come into this game after a tough battle, with Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh has good defense. So once they get through that one, they're going to feel confident. And I'm sorry, I just don't see Kansas City repeating. And I think Buffalo, they're such an exciting team to watch. And I mean, that's what I did in the NBA playoffs this year. I was the one who predicted Miami Heat to the NBA championship. People were making fun of me when I did a show with some of my other friends about it. And it's just because they have momentum. They're a young and exciting team. And that's what I look for. And listen, I have Buffalo going to the Super Bowl.
All right, so that's 2 Buffalo, 1 Kansas City. Rizzo and his hatred of the Western New York team living up there. Who do you got?
You know what? I think Tom said it well. I think that he said too much is going right in Western New York up there in Buffalo. I think in true Buffalo fashion that comes to an end at some point in the playoffs.
Ooh.
Be against the Chiefs, if not sooner. I think especially from last year with Josh Allen, even though I agree he is a completely different player right now, he crumbled in the playoffs against Houston last year. I think that happens again. I want to say, as much as that could be disagreed with.
Look at Tom.
he is a completely
I said
different
that.
quarterback
I said
than he
that.
was a year ago.
I said that.
And you look at the game he got in his head, he was trying to do way too much. And you look at this season as a whole. Last year, he tried to do too much too. In the New England game that they lost to the Tom Brady in New England, he was trying to do way too much then. If you look at his progression as a player as a whole, the strides that he's made as an individual quarterback, he's become so much smarter. His accuracy has gone up through the roof because of his confidence and staying locked in throughout entire games. I don't care what happened last year. Last year it was an awful ending. It was a joke. I was embarrassed. I'm not even a Buffalo fan, and I was embarrassed. Are you embarrassed? I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed of the Bills. But listen, Josh Allen is a completely different quarterback than he was a year ago, and that's why we'll have a little conversation at the end. But I mean, he's in the running for most valuable player.
It's too bad a ghost came on Rizzo's screen there.
Listen, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. Josh Allen, his progression has been through the roof. Compared, it's been a 1-year turnaround for him, as from last year to this year, and why we're talking about him right now. But he hasn't dealt with that adversity though, and what I think is going to be the problem in this Kansas City game.
Exactly.
Kansas City's defense has been there, and they've done that. They've won a Super Bowl. Josh Allen, the last time I recall him facing adversity is against the Arizona game. Obviously, he led that touchdown drive to Stephon Diggs. They had the lead. They lost the game on a miraculous Hail Mary. But I think that's the only time he's faced adversity this year, Maybe against the Steelers defense, but they didn't really look that good that week.
Because he played very well.
Because he played very well.
Or Seattle when he played very well.
Well, Seattle's defense is not.
Or the Rams when they.
Especially then, Seattle's defense.
But that's not adversity, though. If he gets down, and I think they will be down in that Kansas City game, I don't think they'll be able to get out of that deficit.
All right, let's talk about, again, at least for myself, we have them beating the Colts in the wild card matchup. Good defensive team.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh, who we're all assuming would be a much better defensive team in that second game. So, look, you're already facing two high-end defensive teams. Yep. And I'm sorry, it makes too much sense to me. I don't know. I understand your adversity. He hasn't happened, but that's because his career has been so short and he hasn't had that many opportunities to. That's why. He hasn't had many chances.
No, but if he does go down, say he's down against the Kansas City game, maybe it's a 17-10 game third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him, you say it's a 10-10 game halftime. Kansas City comes out of half. They score a touchdown, 17-10. I don't see Josh Allen coming out of that first half and leading them on a touchdown drive.
I do. 17-10 is nothing.
I do. I mean, you look at the Arizona game. You look at that Arizona game, Alberto.
Yeah.
He threw a fantastic ball to Stephon Diggs in the far left corner.
Yeah.
And again, that was with 30 seconds left. He marched down the field to score then. And I don't know, take that for adversity, I guess. He's had such a short career. The only time that he's been down in a big situation, I guess you could say, was Houston last year. But again, that was him just doing too much. And that was his second year. He didn't have as many weapons as he does now. He has the receiving yards leader in Stephon Diggs, who has just been the acquisition of the century so far. Josh Allen, I alluded to this earlier, has made so many small progressions and big leaps as a quarterback and as an individual on the football field. And I do see just the Buffalo Bills just having too much momentum. And again, coming off a Colts and Steelers win, because that was what we're assuming. Okay. I think that's just going to even steamroll even more.
And I hate to agree with Tom, but he is just I can't argue with that. I completely agree with him. Like, if you want to look at adversity, you look at the Rams. They were down, 25 to the Rams or something? Or were they up 25 to the Rams?
We're up 25.
They were
They're up 20. Oh, never mind. Not the Rams. Not the Rams. Okay, the Cardinals game, like Tom said, he led that drive.
That was the only instance. He hasn't had to come.
No, and I know what you mean, but
they won't have to that game either.
The
Why are
example.
we assuming that he's going to be down in that game?
Yeah.
Because they're playing Kansas City.
They're coming off of 2 games.
Yeah.
They're going to be coming off of 2 games that they're going to be 2 good defensive teams. They're going to play a Kansas City team coming off a Super Bowl championship the year before, a team that embarrassed them on their home field on prime time Monday night. Why are we assuming that they're going to be losing?
And the thing is with Alberto, your adversity is being tied at halftime with the Super Bowl champions, the defending champions. That's not adversity. And then getting down 17-10 on that
Why are
first
we
half.
assuming that they're going to be losing? They played
But
fantastic in the first half this year.
We're saying if this happens, and they're down 17-10 because of that first drive, that's not adversity to me. Adversity is.
Well, that is adversity because if you don't score,
the adversity.
You're out. We're getting boat raced the rest of that game.
The adversity that I believe that I would say is if you're down by 2 scores or more in that second half, that's the adversity I'm talking about. Or maybe 1 score in the final 2 minutes.
Listen, the point I'm trying to make is that Kansas City goes up 17-10. Buffalo gets the ball. If they don't score, what's going to happen? Kansas City's going to march right down the field.
But the Buffalo defense has played so well.
Additionally,
but Kansas City has not done that the last, 9-10 games.
What makes you believe that they won't do it? They could do that easily.
They are 100% capable of doing it, but from what I've seen, and if that doesn't change, I won't have faith in it.
In addition, too, let's say it's a minute left. He has to put that same drive together against what he did against Arizona. I don't see him pulling off that game.
To me, I've been in my head. I see, if you want to go back to him fumbling, I guess, is him forcing a ball to Stephon Diggs, who has been amazing all year. But, at this point, when you need a play, that's probably who he's going to go to. And if I can tell you that right now, if it comes down to that in an actual game situation, I guarantee you Kansas City could tell you the same thing. And who's to say how that ends up?
So you got the Chiefs. Now, I don't think we ever got to your NFC pick. I don't even know what your matchup is.
Packers.
You taking the Packers?
I don't care. At this point, I don't care who they play. Packers are winning that game.
So we got 2 Packers Chiefs on the left side, 2 Packers Bills on the right side. I'll let you 2 go first.
I'll go first.
Tom, you want to go? All right.
I'll go first. My Super Bowl.
Okay, Super Bowl.
Let me just paint the picture for you, Alberto.
Oh God, no! He's gonna pick the Bills. I'm gonna silence you.
Let me.
Hey, what's the matchup? You got Bills Packers?
Bills Packers.
Okay.
Let me paint a picture for you. Cause I think you like painting pictures. You like the storyline.
What are you talking
Let me paint a picture for you. They beat the Colts. Good defensive team.
Okay.
Beat the Steelers. Good defensive team. They beat Kansas City, reigning Super Bowl champions. Now here they are in the Super Bowl. Green Bay. Josh Allen standing there saying, wow, I'm really about to finish second in MVP voting to that guy. Bills offense is on an absolute tear because they've played against great defenses, and now out of their 4 playoff games, they're playing the worst one of all 4. The Buffalo Bills, for the first time in franchise history, are going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Oh my.
How's that?
I think after that passionate picture, we will all be rooting for the Indianapolis Colts this weekend.
Listen, moments too big. If Josh Allen does get to the Super Bowl, if he does.
Okay, go.
If they beat Kansas City, they're winning. I don't care who they're playing.
No,
sorry.
Incorrect.
Incorrect. Josh Allen is going up against Green Bay. The defense is shaky. It has been all year. The moment is still too big for him in that game. I don't see
what is he going to have to do for you?
Hold on.
Win the Super Bowl. That's what he's going to have to do for Alberto.
I do not see Josh Allen going toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers.
No.
I mean, look, hypothetically, he just did it against Mahomes. And now to do that against Rodgers, I don't see him repeating that same type of performance. I really don't see it. And he's not even going to get to that. He's not even going to get to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Not this year. Maybe next year. Maybe 2 years, 3 years. Not
okay. So I'm going to let you – hold on. I'm going to let you all fight this out in a minute. I'm just going to say Aaron Rodgers is a man on a mission. This man is not losing in the playoffs. The AFC is the better conference, top to bottom. There's no question about that. The Green Bay Packers are the best team in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is the MVP. They are going to win the Super Bowl. I don't care who they play. I got the Packers. Okay, Alberto.
Listen, wait, what am I saying? What am I saying here? My
Chiefs,
Super
you
Bowl
have
match?
you have Chiefs Packers, right?
No, I have Chiefs Buccaneers.
Oh, you have Chiefs Bucks.
Yeah, I got the Bucks beating Rodgers in the NFC Championship game.
Tom, what do you like?
I see Tom Brady going right back to another Super Bowl.
Tom, what
Listen,
besides
that's not even the main point right here. We're talking about Josh Allen and his ability to carry this team. I just don't see them winning an AFC Championship game this year. I do not see it.
So you had the bottom end of the day, you have the Chiefs repeating?
Oh yeah, I had the Chiefs repeat.
Okay.
Drinking the Kool-Aid. You're drinking the Kool-Aid.
So
Come on.
before we get to Rizzo, Tom, you don't like the Buccaneers?
If the Packers matched up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'll buy points for Green Bay and bet them minus 27.5. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You don't think Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills could beat the Green Bay Packers? But you think Tom Brady, who my dad upstairs could move, is more mobile than he is at this point? Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? What has Tampa Bay shown?
Nothing, Tom. The answer is nothing.
Improvements defensively.
They're not.
Antonio Brown, really?
No.
Come on.
I just want to say,
Come on.
I said this so many times before. I was not on the Buccaneers bandwagon this year, like I was not on the Browns last year. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense did it improve? Yes. Secondary still sucks. I'm sorry, the secondary is not good. The front seven is young. They can be good at times, but they're also hurt. Don't trust them. And on the offensive side, that offensive line has its bad games too. So I'm sorry, Alberto, but the Buccaneers are not. They're not going to the Super Bowl. I don't think they even go to the NFC Championship game. Okay, Rizzo, do you have Packers Chiefs?
I do, but
Okay.
at this point, I don't even care about that. I want to go back to if it were
Back to Josh
I wanna
Allen.
go to
Everything
the
revolves
subject
around
at
Josh
hand. I want to
Allen.
go to the subject at hand because
Okay.
Josh Allen, if say he gets to that AFC Championship game, say he beats Indianapolis, say he beats Pittsburgh, what makes you think he's gonna go toe to toe with Mahomes?
Because he's faced the two better defenses. It's not saying where he's not playing Mahomes in the field. He's playing the defense.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
at the
know.
end of the day, at the end
But
of the day,
at the end of the day,
it comes down to the
respond.
offense as a whole. It comes down to
Hold
the
on,
offense as a whole.
I
And
don't
the
want to get
Buffalo-
too far with talking about the Packers like they're a bad defense either. Their weakness is the rush defense, running defense. They're top 7 in passing yards defensively, top 8 total yards overall, and we're gonna act like the Bills are gonna have enough success to win a game against Aaron Rodgers running the ball when they have to. No,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah,
not happening.
look at it every single week, all 16 games, and their running offense has improved each and every single week. in Buffalo. I think it has. I think it has.
Bills-
Look at the beginning.
Bills
They
yards
couldn't rush the ball first.
Bills
To
You
start.
could say it, Tom. You could say it.
20th.
They couldn't rush the ball for shit, Tom.
Listen,
They couldn't rush the ball
I
at all.
do not see, it's going to happen. Allen is going to say, I want to see this Kansas City Buffalo AFC Championship game. I want to see it. Allen is going to face adversity in this game. He is. And I do not – the bottom line is what I'm trying to say is my point is I do not think he's going to respond at a level that he needs to play at in order to win that game and respond to adversity in order to win the game. He's not
Okay.
He's not
Why?
there this year. I'm not
So
saying
why?
that for the next year. I'm saying
Why is
this
it?
year. What?
To
Tell
me,
me why he
I
is.
agree 100% with Alberto. I think we've
Because
seen
one,
him
he
take
hasn't
steps,
had to this year. One time against an Arizona defense.
and then you end up losing anyway.
There's no other situation
They
where
had some close games throughout the year.
they have not
They
been.
had close games.
have
They
not
went
been close
down-
games.
What? Week 2 in Miami. We watched that game together, Alberto. He threw a touchdown at the end of the game. Let's talk about the
That
Raiders.
Miami
in
team wasn't
Vegas.
formidable in week 2. It wasn't good in week 2.
Yeah, they were. No, they
Nah, they weren't as good in week
Oh,
2.
yeah, because they're better with Tua turn the ball over.
Their defense wasn't as good in week 2.
Okay, so hold on. If you want to say they were as good in week 2, 5 weeks later they play an 8-point win against the New York Jets. I mean, okay.
I mean, listen. The Chiefs are just too good to lose to the Buffalo Bills at this point in time.
You're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Okay, so Alberto, in a hypothetical Chiefs Bills Super Bowl, Rizzo, you have the same question. Or excuse me, Chiefs Bills, Packers Bills, I'm sorry. In a hypothetical Packers Bills Super Bowl, who do you two have?
In a Packers-Bills Super Bowl?
Yep.
Packers.
Okay, Rizzo?
I would agree. I'd say the Packers.
Okay, now Rizzo, in your Super Bowl with the Packers and the Chiefs, who do you have?
Wait.
Or did you take the Packers and Chiefs?
I have the same one. I said I have the Packers.
You have the Packers winning? Okay, so we've got 2 Packers, we've got a Chiefs, and we have a Bills. Sound right?
Correct.
All right.
Mine sounds right.
Yeah, okay. All right. We've hit the hour mark of our show here. Ran a lot longer than we thought. That's enough, Tom. But we promised you player award picks, so we're not going to give any explanation behind these. It's going to be hard for Tom. We're not going to give any explanation behind these.
Let's see it.
But quickly, very quickly, because we're at an hour already. I'm going to name the award. I'm going to give mine, and we're going to go Alberto, Rizzo, Tom, and we're just going to go real quick. MVP, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Rizzo.
Aaron Rodgers. You're lucky I wouldn't have to explain anything anyway. I mean,
Tom.
Aaron Rodgers. Josh Allen second.
Okay. I had to get that word in. Okay. Defensive player of the year. I have to go TJ Watt. Well, because you know the reason. Alberto.
Aaron Donald.
Okay. Rizzo.
TJ Watt.
And Tom.
TJ Watt.
Oh, I'm kind of surprised at that one.
Okay.
All right. Offensive player of the year. It was very close. I think we all know who was in second with my pick. Devontae Adams is my winner. Alberto.
Derrick Henry.
Rizzo.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
And Tom, Derrick Henry. Okay, we got offensive rookie of the year. Justin Jefferson's a close second to Justin Herbert is the winner for me. Alberto.
I got Justin Jeff.
Okay. Justin Jeff. Rizzo.
Herbert.
And Tom.
Herbert.
Tom?
And he's better to turn the ball over.
God. Defensive rookie of the year. I'm stealing this from one of my friends back home. They know who they are, who's listening. Carolina Panthers, Jeremy Chin. Alberto.
I got Patrick Queen.
Oh, that's off the board. Okay, Rizzo, your turn.
Chase Young.
Chase Young.
Okay. And then comeback player of the year, our final award. I should be unanimous. Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
Yep.
A. Smith.
Alex Smith. All right. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did too. That was an absolute
Coach of the
blast.
year, Mike McCarthy.
Oh God. Oh, we you want to do coach of the year? We can do coach of the year. Go ahead, Tom. You go.
Adam Gase and Mike McCarthy tie for first.
In all seriousness, who you got coach of the year? I forgot about that one. Tom?
I don't know.
Oh.
Okay, good. Okay, Rizzo.
You know what? I'm gonna surprise probably all 3 of you, but we've been talking about him all. His team all game or all show. I'm gonna say McDermott.
Damn it!
Yeah, I'm gonna say McDermott too. Yeah.
I was gonna pick McDermott. I think Brian Flores is second, Tomlin's third. Alberto.
Yeah, I got Brian Flores.
Okay. All right. So that was a fun hour and
Tom is so disgusting. I don't think
okay. Shut up, Tom. Hour 4 minutes ish is what we're at right now. Great show. We'll have to have you guys on again for sure. I know we're gonna have Tom on for our baseball preview for
You
sure.
can have me on when the Bills win the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
All right,
We
see you
will.
in a couple of years, buddy.
Or never. Okay.
Deal.
So yeah, like I said, we'll have to have you guys back on. I know Alberto talked to me about featuring you guys for some NBA stuff. Obviously I don't know much about. Tom definitely gonna be on for baseball preview if we do that.
Indoor.
Lindor. If you like this video, I think it was our best. Be sure to like and subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. Let us know in the comments your thoughts. Who's winning this weekend? Who you agree with on our token arguments today? Whether Josh Allen will go to the Super Bowl or even win it, and what you think Mason Rudolph's role is. Thank you guys for watching. It's been a blast. We will be back on Tuesday with our reaction, Alberto and I, with our reaction to the playoffs that happened this week. And
Did the two of us just get thrown to the curb after coming on here now?
absolutely.
All
Okay,
right.
and then we also next Tuesday is our NHL Spectacular, which I'm really looking forward to. Thanks,
Go
guys. We'll see you
Bonnies.
next time.